morning and welcome to my kitchen. It is December. Christmas is almost there, which means the elf on the shelf is somewhere. Now, I have got 3 incredible recipes for you, alternatives to the roast turkey. I'm not a big fan of turkey, and I think it's really important that you've got options, you've got different recipes that you can have that are still celebratory, are festive, not as expensive. Turkey is expensive this year, so I thought let's create 3 cracking recipes. You like these ones, don't you, Emily? I do. We have tested them and we like them a lot. First of all, I thought I'd make this really delicious festive Christmas meatloaf. It is essentially everything you want from a Christmas dinner in one incredible meatloaf. It's full of flavour. It is absolutely delicious. Then we're going to make an amazing glazed gammon in clementine, clove and maple syrup. Beautiful maple syrup from St. Lawrence Gold. It is a cracker of a product. And then we're going to make a mulled wine coq au vin. So, you know, if maybe there's only 2 of you, you don't want a big roast, you don't want a massive dish, but you want something festive, that recipe is absolutely for you. But first, our festive meatloaf. So it starts with turkey. So we've got minced turkey in the bowl here. Now, Carlos will place the recipe down this side, or maybe that side, I'm not quite sure which. And it'll have all the ingredients for you. But we start with minced turkey, and then I have got Cumberland sausage meat. So I've got 2 left to cut out their skins. I'm always cutting sausages out the skins. It's really easy to do. You get loads more seasoning, loads more flavour. So you just cut down the middle and then just unwrap it. So I'll show you that again. Can you see this all right, Emily? Yeah. So just sharp knife and score the sausage, unravel it and get rid of that skin. You can get sausage meat lots at Christmas. You could do that if you prefer. So now I've got put that to one side. Now, if you have any questions at all today, please put them in the comments below. I am here to help. These recipes are going to make Christmas a blast. We have got 4 episodes running right the way up to Christmas Eve. And on Christmas Eve, we're going to have cocktails and mocktails. So if you don't do alcohol, you can have the mocktail too. But stay tuned. Every Saturday, 9 a.m., you will see me in the kitchen. Emily and Carlos are over there eating and editing at the same time. So let's get back to the recipe. I have got some Paxo style stuffing, instant sage and onion stuffing. Nothing exciting in here. I've just followed the packet of instructions and I have just made it up, left it to cool. So we have got some nice flavours now. I have got some apricots, dried apricots. We're going to pop those in. I've always made my sage and onion stuffing at Christmas with cranberry and apricot. I love it. The combination's brill. It just takes your everyday instant stuffing to the next level. So we've got our apricots there. We've got our dried cranberries. If you can't get hold of cranberries, use raisins. Okay, they will work just the same. You get that nice sort of sweetness. I have got my chestnuts. Okay. So I'm just going to roughly chop these, not much, because when you eat this, you want to know that you've cracked into a chestnut, if you ask me. So just run the knife through a couple of times, like so. Do you like a chestnut?
I do actually.
Do you?
I think they're starting to come into the shops, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so chestnuts. Now, herbs. Let's talk herbs, okay? So I've been to the garden. It's not looking its best, I'll be honest. So we've got some fresh thyme. These will be the only herbs in your garden that are growing, really, if you're in the UK. Right. So I've got a little bit of thyme. I've got the last bits of sage. Now, I'm using fresh sage today. If you've only got dried, use half the amount, okay? So half the amount of what's in the recipe, use as dried, because it's very intense in its flavour. Okay. So we've got some sage, and then rosemary, always growing in the garden all the time. Let's strip that, okay. And then I've got some bay leaves, which I'm not going to chop, but I am going to use to get the flavour in, and I'll show you how in a minute.
Do you prefer fresh bay leaves over
Oh yeah, we've got loads in the garden. The great thing about bay is, and if you don't know what to ask Father Christmas for Christmas, ask for a bay tree, because it is amazing. It will be there all year long, and it will be full of leaves, and it's a great way to get flavour in. I find the dry ones a bit brittle, and they just kind of break up, and they become too strong. Whereas if you take a bay, and you sort of smell that one, right? Have a smell of it. Not a lot going on yet, is there?
No.
Right, scrumple it up in your hand, like that, and then have a smell.
Wow.
It releases all the flavours, and that will perfume into your dish. It's lovely. It's just Christmas. So, bay leaves, scrunch them up a bit. Don't tear them. Just break the chambers of the leaf so that they will release their flavour. Right. Let's roughly chop our herbs. So we've got sage, thyme, and rosemary. All good winter herbs. Right. Okay. So that can all go into our mixture now. In it goes. Right, we're also going to get some orange in there. So let's find a zester. So I always use a plain because it means that you get all the zest off. Zest is where the fragrance is and flavour is. The juice is where the acidity is. So you want kind of best of both really on this. And you could use clementines or satsumas if you wanted to. I'm using an orange because I want plenty of zest. There we go. Right. Hang on to the orange. One large free-range egg. In it goes. And then we've got our breadcrumbs. Now we add our orange juice. Okay, so cut it in half. Where's my juicer? Where is my juice? There it is. My juicer. Do you remember my juicer?
Yep.
Right, in it goes. And squeeze. I love this juicer, it's brilliant. It's from Chef'n. You can get them and cook, serve and enjoy. They are brilliant. Really, really good. Great for cocktails. Great for just juicing in food and cooking or drinking. If you want to only use the zest, say in your baking, in your cake, juice the rest for breakfast. It's delicious. And it's juicing straight over the breadcrumbs, which will help it all absorb and come together. So, in with your hands and just scrunch it all up. Okay? So that's our turkey, our sausage meat, our dried fruit, our herbs, egg, breadcrumbs, and what else have we got in there? Chestnuts.
You can smell it from over here.
I know, it smells so Christmassy. You know, and if you don't want a big turkey, but you want Christmas, it's absolutely all in this bowl, okay? So that is mixed together and ready. Not much to do there. Haven't seasoned it because the sausage meat's got seasoning in already. Okay, so let's put that to one side. Couple more things to do. Smoked bacon. So your pigs in blankets. Christmas is not complete without pigs in blankets. We've got our sausage meat in there, so that's half of the pigs in blankets. Now the blanket. We're going to chop up the smoked streaky bacon, okay, and that's going to go in. So we've got cranberries, we've got our pigs in blankets, we've got our chestnuts, we've got our turkey, we've got the lot going into this meatloaf, all right? So that's chopped up, that can go in. Now, our stuffing that's pre-soaked and ready to go, and it's cooled now, I want to turn this into a ball. And it's going to go right in the centre of our festive meatloaf. So, you see how it just rolls and holds together, yeah? Okay, so, now, your Christmas pudding. I made mine in my masterclass tin, in my pudding steamer. We're now going to use it for our meatloaf, okay? So, I've got a little bit of softened butter here. I'm just going to rub it around the sides for flavour. It's non-stick anyway, this, so it won't stick, but I just wanted to add a little bit of flavour and richness. So you can add a little bit of butter, it kind of bastes it around the edges. Can you see that? I'll just wash my hands. Right, butter in the pudding dish. Now, if you didn't have a pudding tin like this, you could use a loaf tin if you wanted to, or you can use a pudding basin as long as it's okay to go in the oven, all right? So, bay leaves in the bottom. We'll peel those away at the end, but because we've crushed them a little bit, the flavour will start to really work in there. Now, cranberry sauce. It's not complete, is it? Christmas dinner without a bit of cranberry sauce. We're going to stick that into the bottom. You see that all right? Yeah? So we're going to make this sort of well in the bottom, and that will soak in, and when you turn it out, you've got all that lovely cranberry sauce on the top, and it'll pour down the sides. It'll be brilliant. Okay. Keep a little bit left for when you serve it, so when you turn it out, you can always add more on top if you want to. Okay? So, give it a little tap. Now, let's take our filling. I'm just going to mix that smoked bacon through, and then we will start to add it in. Now, I've got a competition going over the next couple of weeks. If you want to win one of my masterclass pieces of equipment, and I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. I'm going to tell you what it is next week when it finishes. It is an amazing piece of kit. I love it. What you need to do is look for the elf on the shelf in my kitchen somewhere, like and comment and tell me where that elf is, and that will enter you into competition to win an amazing piece of masterclass equipment that you will need on Christmas Day, I promise you, and I will get it to you if you're in the UK. So I'm afraid only people in the UK can enter. I'm sorry. Maybe next year we'll work out how to do it beyond, because we have loads of people all over the world watching the show, which is amazing. So thank you for that. So yeah, tell me where the elf is in the comments below, like and share this video, and then next week I will show you what you're gonna win, okay? So, it's exciting, isn't it? So all we're gonna do is we're just gonna keep filling it, and then just use the back of your hands just to push it into all the gaps. And I want to make a well in the middle, okay? Because I'm gonna put a ball of stuffing right in the center there, okay? Now push it down around the edges, and then we'll get the last of this around there just to hide it all in together.
When's the best to prepare this, Pete? Because obviously I know people kind of build up the package
Yeah.
for Christmas Day.
You could totally make this now and freeze it, and then take it out for 24 hours, leave it in the fridge to thaw, and then you could bake it for Christmas Day. You could have it on Boxing Day, you do what you like. Make it whenever you fancy. And to be honest, you could take this concept and you could apply it to different flavours. You don't have to be for Christmas if you don't want. You do it for Easter, you can do it for whenever you like. But what I've done there is I've managed to get all the filling in. I've got that sphere in the middle of that ball of sage and onion stuffing in there. We've got our cranberry at the bottom. We've got bay leaves in there. As it heats up, all those flavours are going to marry together. It's going to be delicious. So, put the lid on. Give it a twist. Now, if you were wanting to be particularly economical in the way that you did this, if your tin or your container fits in the air fryer, do it in the air fryer. You use so much less electricity. Or you could put this in the slow cooker overnight on the low heat, and it'll be ready the next morning for when you want it. And I tell you, on Boxing Day, this sliced up be absolutely amazing. Right, it's time for the glazed gammon. Now, this is my absolute favourite. I would rather have this than turkey any day. What I've done is I've bought a joint of gammon from Booths yesterday, and I have filled this with about 1 inch of water, popped it on the roasting tray, and then covered it and put it in the oven for 3 hours at 160 degrees, and it's cooked. Now, if you want to do this in a more economical manner, totally put it in a slow cooker easily, and it will cook overnight on a medium to low heat, and it'll be perfect. You can also put it in a pan, cover it with water, simmer it for 2 to 3 hours. Use a temperature probe, make sure that it's above 75 degrees Celsius in the middle, and you are done, and at this stage. So, it is cooked, okay? So we're just gonna take the net off. So I will lift that onto there. Is that all right, Emily? I don't wanna spoil your shot. And then we're just gonna cut the net off and remove the skin. Okay, now if some of the skin comes away, that's absolutely fine, because we don't want the skin. What we want is to be able to glaze up the fat underneath. Right, there we go. So just score that. Now, if you want any of today's recipes, please scan the QR code along the bottom. It will take you to masterclass.co, who are my sponsors, and they provide all the equipment that I work with in my kitchen, and you will get the recipes there, okay? So, just cut that and just remove the skin. In fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the whole thing off there, get this net away, so the net holds it all together, and then we can just peel that away. And if it doesn't come off that easily, just use your knife and just score it. Do you like a gammon? Do you have gammon at home?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Christmas this. My mum used to cook one of these every Christmas. It's my dad's favourite thing for Christmas.
We always cook one. It's always nice that we always have it like on Boxing Day and like the day after, like leftovers from Christmas.
Yeah, and you always want a bigger joint than you actually need, because there's loads of stuff that you can do with it.
We always turn it, if you have like turkey, like turkey gammon pie.
Nice. Maybe you should be here and I'll do that bit. Role reversal. No? Right.
It's good for lots.
Okay. So, now we've got our gammon joint. Can you see that all right?
Yeah.
Cloves. This is Christmas in a jar, if you ask me. Okay, so you want plenty, okay? Do you use cloves in Spain, Carlos?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. What do you use them for?
Just kind of the same for
Yeah.
meats.
So all we're going to do is just push them into the meat, and this will just take me a few minutes. And they just sort of, it's like studding it with little bits of flavour, and there's nothing else like it, so you can't really say, oh, do that instead. It just, cloves, you need cloves, really, for this job. And they're probably still in the cupboard from last Christmas, when you bought them from last Christmas, and you haven't used them since, because it really is a Christmassy herb. You might use them in your mulled wine, but that is about it. So
They're not used for much else, are they?
no, I mean, I think they're part of mixed spice.
Yeah.
And I think they use them quite a lot in Caribbean cooking, but blended up with chili and all that sort of stuff.
Just a salt flavour.
No, I mean, you open the jar and it just smells of Christmas straight away. So, anywho, right, nearly there. Just pushing them in, and because we've removed the skin, they will just push in really, really easily. And I just think this makes such a nice alternative for a Christmas dinner. Roasted, I mean, why not? Have that instead of turkey if you don't fancy turkey. It's cheaper. It's still got that same impact. It's special because you don't have this all the time. I would much rather have this for Christmas myself. I've yet to find anyone who can make me enjoy turkey. It just doesn't do it for me. Right. Okay, that will do, I think. So, there is my gammon studded with cloves, and what we're going to do is we're just going to lift it back into the roasting tray, okay? And then I'm just going to scoop that fat away, pop that onto there. Clementines, they are just Christmas, aren't they? And we're going to pop those there. Can you see that all right, Emily, or do you want me to move it?
No, it's fine.
Sure? Okay. And what we will do is we'll squeeze all the clementines out over the gammon when it's finished. All right? So let's pop that on there. Just pop them round, and they will just make the most incredible flavour when we add... Can I put this on here now?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that make you happy? Good, right, maple syrup. Now this is St. Lawrence Gold Organic. This is a dark maple syrup. It is absolutely delicious. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it in the supermarkets now. It is one of the good ones, in my opinion. And what we're going to do is, you could coat it all in sugar if you wanted to, but I wanted to use the maple syrup because I think it's got more flavour. And all we're going to do is drizzle it over the top. And that will caramelise and roast in the oven and just make all the difference. Okay, so that is going to go in a hot oven for about 20 minutes. Really hot as it'll go, because you just want the outside to caramelise. Now, if you haven't got a grill option, you could blowtorch it if you want, or just full whack in the oven and just let it go golden and caramelised. Right, it's time for mulled wine coq au vin. So coq au vin is a traditional chicken dish cooked in red wine. I thought it'd be nice to make it Christmassy, and let's get a little bit of mulled wine in there, get some spices going, really make it taste like Christmas. I think this recipe's perfect if there's just 2 of you at home for Christmas. You don't need to do that big roast, but you want something a little bit special, but tastes of Christmas. So I have got my 4.5 litre cast aluminium. This is Hunter Green.
Yeah.
4.5 litre? 4 litre. 4 litre. Cast aluminium, Hunter Green. Everyone's got their favourite colour, haven't they, Emily? What's yours?
I think that the greens one.
You like the Hunter Green, do you?
Yeah, green
Do you?
black.
Right. Right, I've got my chicken in here. These are the Masterclass stainless steel containers. I use them all the time for different ingredients. But let's go through what we're going to put in. Okay, so I've got some lovely smoked streaky bacon. Now, I've got some chicken breasts here. I've took these off a whole chicken. And I used the thighs the other day and the legs for this amazing glazed Korean chicken recipe, which I'll get Carlos to put a little link on the bottom. Scan the QR code, maybe it'll take you to my website, petersidwell.com, and the recipe will be there. Anyway, let's not get too distracted by that. So I'm going to take the wings off. Now I've got the chicken breast here. I'm just going to cut it. Don't cut it into really tiny pieces, okay? Because we want all the vegetables to cook as well. So reasonable pieces. So I've cut the chicken breast into 4 there. I'll get the other ones as well. You could do this whole as well if you wanted to. And I've also left the skin on for a bit of extra flavour since it's Christmas. Do you like a coq au vin? You don't think you've had it?
I don't think I have.
Have you not? Oh, you'll like it. You'll like it. It's a classic. It's a French classic, which I've sort of tinkered with a little. I think it's probably the best thing to say. So, chicken into 4 there. And then let's just drizzle it with a little bit of oil so that we can get some nice colour on there. So a little bit of olive oil on there. And then let's season it up with some salt, so we get some nice caramelisation, okay? So I'm going to put this straight into the pan, skin side down, and then I'm going to go off and wash my hands while it's cooking. It's really important that you don't mess about and move it and fiddle with it. You want to leave the heat of the pan to caramelise the skin, crisp up. That's where the flavour is, okay? Right, I'll just quickly dice this bacon up. So smoked bacon for me will always get more flavour in there. Pop that in, and then it's time to wash my hands and this chopping board. Okay, chicken is caramelising up. We'll give it a little season of pepper on this side. I haven't touched the pan at all yet. Really important that you just let it cook, let it crisp up. This is also a really good one for the freezer as well. So if you're pushed for time on Christmas Day, you can get this done, no problem. Okay, so carrots. Let's peel these carrots. So these will add a little bit of sweetness into the dish. Right. Now, if you have any questions as well, please do post them in the comments below. I am here to help. It's always nice to hear from people who are watching wherever they are in the world, because we do get lots of people from all over, which is nice. Right. Okay, so all I'm going to do is cut this down the middle, and then again, long ways. And then we'll bunch them together, and then we'll cut them into little pieces, okay? Right, they can go into the pan. And then we've got some celery, and this will help with the sort of savoury flavour. Celery always gives that sort of oomph of savouriness. You could also use fennel if you prefer that flavour. That works really well with the red wine that we're going to go in with. And if you wanted to make this dish, perhaps, like if you didn't want it to be Christmassy and mulled, you would just use a normal red wine with a good flavour. But in the summer, you can also make it with white wine, so it becomes a lot lighter and more fragrant. Okay. So again, just chop all the celery, same size as the carrots. We're going to check that chicken in a minute. Right, let's get this into the pan. Okay, then I've got my shallots. Okay, so I've peeled all these ones. It's really important that you keep that core on there. So just nick the edge off, because what we don't want is the shallots to fall apart in the cooking process. Okay, we're just going to peel them. We're going to leave them whole. All right. There we go. So we'll add these in. There we go. Right, I think it's probably time to have a look at this chicken. Get some tongs out. And let's have a little look and see what's going on. Oh, look at the colour on that now. That's where all the flavour is, when you get colour like that. And the only way that you get that colour is by not touching the chicken. Just let it caramelise, let it get that colour on there, because colour means flavour. Okay? So we'll give that a good stir. We've got that colour in now, which is exactly what we wanted. There we go. Look at that. And by having such a good non-stick pan as well, it means I know that a pan like this, it won't stick. It'll just do the job I want it to do. Right, mushrooms. I'm going to just take the little core out, and I'm just going to drop them in. I want these to stay whole, okay? Because there's plenty of time for everything to cook. And I don't want the mushrooms to disappear. I want you to be able to see each and every ingredient in there. And that will do, I think. Smells good, doesn't it? Smells good. Right. I'm going to add a little bit of flour. Not a lot, just a little sprinkle. Maybe a tablespoon, max. It's just to give the sauce some depth and sort of some body, so it's not just liquid. It becomes more like a gravy, more like a stew. Okay, so rosemary, I'm just going to go straight in with the rosemary. I'm just going to put it in whole, because that's the way I roll today. If you want to chop it, you can chop it. But I don't want it to be really heavy on the rosemary flavour, but I want it to be there. And then I've got a little bit of thyme. I'm just going to pop that straight in. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fresh bay leaves. Just give it a little scrunch like we said before. That will help release the flavour. And then just pop it in. We'll take that out later. Right. Garlic. It's French. Of course it's got garlic in it. I'm just going to nick the top off the garlic. So I've got it there. And that means I put that in. And then I can squeeze the whole thing later, and I get that wonderful, rich, sweet garlic. It's just amazing when it cooks whole. It just becomes really mellow. And then we've got a clementine. I'm just going to cut it in half. I'm going to pop that in as well. And then time for the mulled wine. Now, I've got a bottle of mulled wine here already to go. If you can't get mulled wine, take a good red wine that you would drink anyway and add the spices. So nutmeg, star anise, a little bit of orange, cinnamon, all those sort of nice mixed spice flavours. Add your normal red wine, add a little bit. But I've got a mulled wine ready to go now. So in with a pint, so 600 mils, okay? This is 750, so 3/4 of this bottle is going in. Don't tell Emma. There we go. Save a little bit. So that is our mulled wine. We need to get that up to the boil. And I've also got a pint of chicken stock. Okay, so we'll add that in as well. That's our cooking done. All we got to do now is bring that up to the boil and then just let it simmer and cook away, or you can whack it in the oven. You could put it in the slow cooker if you wanted to, but I'm going to put a lid on it and I'm just going to let that cook for about an hour until... What you need to do is, the chicken will 100% be cooked within an hour of simmering that, no problem at all. It's the shallots that are going to take the time to cook. They need a little bit of time just to poach, absorb all that beautiful wine and soften. And when they're cooked, it'll be ready. Oh, let me tell you, this smells absolutely amazing. Look at that, it's a thing of beauty. It's all caramelized up, the maple syrup has done its job. The last thing I want to do now is take these clementines, once it's cool enough and sort of safe enough, just squeeze some of them over the top because the flavour is ridiculously good, okay? So just a few, that will do. And then, if you don't know what to ask Father Christmas for, get one of these masterclass blowtorches. There are very few blowtorches available in a domestic environment that are any good. Chefs tend to go to DIY stores and builders merchants and buy them for big commercial kitchens because the little tiny creme brulee ones don't work. This one from Masterclass absolutely does. If you want one, cookserveandenjoy.com, order it now or put it on your Christmas list. Right, scorch it, okay? And you almost want to sort of burn the cloves a little bit because that's when you get the amazing caramelized flavour. Are you a little bit excited, Emily?
Yeah, a lot.
You like this one, don't you? I'm just going to get another clementine. Look at that. Caramelise that clementine juice. It is so good. Are we getting nice and close in on this? Oh, look at that. Whoa. There we go. Right. Let's get a carving fork and knife. This is the best bit. Right, let's lift that up. Ooh. There we go. Where's the bit? Which side do you want me to carve, Emily?
This one.
This side?
Yes.
But I'm left-handed. All right. For you.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. It is super tender, and the flavour on the outside is just incredible. This is perfect for a Christmas dinner instead of turkey, honestly.
The little bits that fall off.
What, this bit here?
Yeah. I mean,
The good thing about this is, whatever's left over is perfect for Boxing Day, and there are so many things you could do with the leftovers, if there are any, but that is blooming lovely. Right, on to the next dish. Okay, so here is my festive meatloaf. I'm just going to take the lid off. I've checked the temperature and it is above 75 degrees, which is exactly what we need it to be. Okay? I'm just going to pour the excess liquid away, because you'll find that it does create some excess liquid, which is fine. Ooh, right. So I'm going to get another plate. And then we sit that on top. Okay. And then we just turn it over like so. It was easy, wasn't it? High risk, that one. High risk. And then we're just going to carefully lift them, because we buttered it. And it's non-stick, this pudding tin anyway. Look at that. Okay, we're just going to take those bay leaves away, because we don't need those. They've done their job. Okay. And you can see all the fruit, you can see the cranberries, the apricots, all throughout. And then we saved a little bit of cranberry sauce, didn't we? I'm just going to stir that together, sit that on top just for extra flavour. And there you go. With a pint of gravy, some roast potatoes, some parsnips, some Brussels sprouts, you're done. That is how to make my delicious festive meatloaf. Okay, the coq au vin, or should I say the mulled coq au vin, has just been cooking away on the hob beautifully. It's thickened up, the flour has given it more of a sort of gravy type texture. All I need to do now is lift it onto here, and it is ready to serve. So, everything has just cooked together. The chicken has gone that sort of crimsony colour from the mulled wine. Look at that. Christmas or no Christmas, this is a good dish, okay? Let me just put that onto there.
and could you still serve this with olive trimming?
Oh, I think this would just be perfect. I do think this dish it's Christmassy. It's really, really Christmassy. It's perfect if there's a couple of people and you don't want a massive, great big turkey or anything like that. But also, if you're like me and you're not really that bothered about turkey, this is absolutely perfect. Now, what I've also done is I've been looking around the supermarket for some nice wines, okay? And I've got two options for you. Now, this is our secret wine, isn't it, Emily? We have been drinking this, not me and Emily, but in our house we found this a couple of years ago, and it is called Beefsteak, okay? And it's a Malbec. And I think, pound for pound, this is one of the most delicious red wines. It is perfect on Christmas Day. It's perfect with meats and things like that. It's got a really amazing flavour. It is so, so delicious. Oh, it's good. Now, if you're not into red, the good news is they've brought out a white as well. They've just recently brought out a Sauvignon Blanc, and again, I found this in Sainsbury's the other day. It is delicious. These guys, Beefsteak, find amazing wines from all over the world. They also do a Shiraz, and they do a Malbec Rosé as well. It's absolutely delicious. So if you are having roast turkey, I would say that's perfect with it. If you're going to try my gammon, this will work well with either wine. And then also, if you're going to have the festive roast, both of these wines will work perfectly. but it is a Sauvignon Blanc. It is absolutely delicious and really good value for money. There are 3 of my alternative Christmas Day recipes. Keep the turkey in the freezer or the fridge for me. You have got mulled wine coq au vin, you've got a clementine and maple syrup glazed gammon, or my festive meatloaf. All 3 recipes, absolutely delicious. If you want the recipe, scan the QR code along the bottom. It will take you to masterclass.co. You'll get all my recipes there. And remember, if you have seen the elf on the shelf, enter my competition to win an amazing piece of Masterclass equipment. All right? Comment, like, and share. Tell me where the elf is, and that will enter you into the free prize draw, and you might be getting some amazing Masterclass gear. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next episode.